I have done 29 more real estate deals. I have 3 online businesses. I want to teach as many people how the rich families, the Rockefellers, the DuPonts, the Carnegies, the Kennedys, how they're saving taxes. You and I should all know this information. So I thank you.
Radio show, man, they everywhere.
Thank you for tuning in. Another episode of Bake That Radio Show. I'm your host, Andreas. Have another guest being brought via Zoom. We have Sally Gimon. I said that correct, right?
Thank you.
Sally, I was looking up your bio, and I love it. The fact that you was a real estate investor, and then you bought a bank-owned property, and you knew that capital gains tax would be a thing once you sold it. So I wanted to get into that, and you talk more about the audience about making sure I'm saying this right. Beneficial Spendthrift Trust.
Excellent. Thank you, Andreas, for having me. A little bit about my history. Back in October 2028, my oldest nephew got married in Charlotte, North Carolina. I had a house in Phoenix. My mom and dad were living in Goodyear, Arizona, about 20 miles west of Phoenix on I-10. My parents drove from Arizona to North Carolina. Along the way, my mom got dehydrated. She got septic blood poisoning. She was on a ventilator for 13 months, in a hospital for 15 months. I was working full-time as a Medicare broker. Middle of October, open enrollment, crazy time. I worked until 8 o'clock Friday night, drove down to Sky Harbor Airport, flew to, did a red eye to Charlotte. Next day, my other nephew picked me up. We went to IHOP, then we went to go see my mom in the hospital. We walked in, the priest was giving her last rites. My world stopped moving. Go back to my brother and sister-in-laws, take a shower, go to a wedding, friends and family from all over the world, had a great wedding. On Sunday, went back to see her, caught a flight back to Arizona, back to Phoenix, because I had to be at work at 6 a.m. Arizona time, because I was working Michigan, East Coast Michigan hours. Fast forward to December, my mom and dad stayed in North Carolina for 9 months until she got stronger to come back to Arizona. She was still on a ventilator. I was going out to their house 3 days a week to do the mail, and there was a letter 27 pages thick that was her first month statement from CMS, Centers for Medicare Stability, and it said it was $172,000. Yikes, that's an expensive medical bill.
Yes.
My dad was a retired military officer. They had TRICARE for life. She was getting the best care possible, but I had a mortgage, I had student loans, I had credit card bills, and I had 2 car payments. My brand new 3-week-old car, I was going to work at 7:30 in the morning, went a second car on a green light through Indian School Road, major east-west road in Phoenix. A guy who was drunk, high, and no insurance ran the red light and T-boned me. And I went from being comfortable to living paycheck to paycheck. So right there, I called my friend Glenn, and I'm like, Glenn, he had invited me to a real estate meeting back in August of 2018. I'm like, I need to change my life today. He's like, Sally, next Saturday, we're having a Christmas potluck. Bring a $5 gift and something to eat. Rhonda and I are going to be late. We have a Christmas pageant. I don't know about you, Andreas, but going into a party by yourself, scary scenario.
Yeah, I
did it.
It.
I had to psych myself up. I'll be honest.
Yeah.
I did it. Best decision of my life. In 2029, I was still working as a Medicare broker full time. I wholesaled 7 bank-owned properties nationwide and paid off all my debt. The best decision of my life. When I went to go do my taxes for 2019 in April of 2020, I found out I owed capital gains and had to get on a payment plan with the IRS. In my real estate group, I was like, wow, Sally's doing so great. I'm like, oh boy, I'm on a payment plan with the IRS. Embarrassing. So go fast forward. In July of 2020, there was a bank-owned reverse mortgage house in Rocky Mount, North Carolina. My mom was still in the hospital in North Carolina. Do you have any LLCs?
Yes.
Sales.
You can write off.
Sales. Yes. You need sales to survive.
And I get it, as small business owners, it is hard to get those sales that you need. Maybe you're part-time and you want to become full-time. Maybe you're full-time and your sales have slumped. Or maybe you're just trying to get to that next level. We can assist you. We have the answers for you, baby. 478-388-0208 is all you need to do. Call that number. We work with plenty of brands and businesses across a variety of industries. We can help you create that content, especially for those social media campaigns that you're trying to run, especially if you want that original content where you're not being flagged by music and copyrights, and especially if you want something that's going to last and connect and resonate with your audience. Go ahead, give us a call, 478-388-0208.
You can write off your taxes if you go to visit your property. That was my philosophy for this.
Mhm.
Bank-owned property was $20,000. That's why I paid for it. The contract said it was going to go to auction for $50,000, but the problem was July of 2020, still the middle of COVID. I had to wait 13 months. Well, I'm on a payment plan with the IRS in my national real estate group. I'm in the Phoenix office, but in my national real estate group, a gentleman named Garrett Gunderson wrote a book, What the Rockefellers Do. I had a paper copy of it. I started researching, calling people, Googling people, finding everything I could. I found the private law firm in Texas that has the copyright, 72-year-old copyright on this trust. I became their client. I moved that property from my LLC to bill of sales, from my LLC to me, and then from me to the trust. And then I was the first female mastermind host in my real estate group to teach other real estate investors how to say capital gains, interest income, and rental income. When that property went to auction, August 21st, 2021, I went from $50,000 up to over $64,000. Yay, Sally, I made $44,000. But more importantly, I saved $10,580 in short-term capital gains. I have done 29 more real estate deals. I have 3 online businesses. I want to teach as many people how the rich families, the Rockefellers, the DuPonts, the Carnegies, the Kennedys, how they're saving taxes. You and I should all know this information. So I thank you for having me on your radio show.
Yeah, no doubt, because I love bringing people on like yourself, you know what I'm saying, who has the information and can make it relatable. Because I think a lot of people have the misconception that, you gotta have access to this and that. And all it is just having access to the right information and the people, who can walk you through it. So as you started doing this, at what point did you feel comfortable in, teaching others how to do it as well?
Honest to God, when I found out, when I transferred the 2 properties over, I contacted the gentleman who ran my Phoenix real estate group, and I said, "Hey, I want to teach in the group." He's just like, "Let's do a business partnership together." He was my mentor, he was my friend, and we were business partners. I hate to tell this part of the story, but I'll go forward. For 18 months, I did a mastermind 6 o'clock on Thursdays. January 12th of 2022, I'm in North Carolina visiting my brother, and the gentleman who ran the group, I don't even want to use his first name. He and I had a real estate deal. I checked my bank account online. I'm like, oh, it was supposed to be $5,000 more. That's, we had an agreement. So I text him, a simple text going, "Hey, what happened to our 50-50 agreement on this deal?" Next day, maybe a bad day, January 13th of 2022, we get on a scheduled Zoom, and he turned on a dime. I mean, I sent him a text just like, "Hey, what happened to our deal?" And he's like, "You're calling me a thief. You're calling me a liar." I'm like, "No, I'm just asking, like $5,000. I don't know about for you, but to me, that's money, So he goes, "I have to put your mastermind on hold." And I'm like, "I'm not a human yo-yo. Either I continue or I don't continue." He's like, "Well, then if that's the way you're going to be, you're done." Have you heard of Bob Proctor and Sandy Gallagher? Are you aware of? I'm a student of Thinking into Results. Do you know anything about that?
Bob, I've heard of. The other person he named, haven't.
Bob Proctor, he concentrates all on the book by Napoleon Hill. What is it called? Something about, it was how Napoleon Hill wrote the book. I just forgot the title. So my coach for Thinking into Results, I text her right after I got off the Zoom. She's like, I'll talk to you tomorrow, 7 a.m. My Susan mom, she gets on the Zoom. She goes, I need you to move. I need you to find a new real estate group. And I need you to start your own company. I'm like, Susan, my entire world just fell apart yesterday. And it was the
Mhm.
best thing ever. I mean, I started my new company, The Trust Is You,
Mhm.
because the business trust works with US business owners and 1099 income earners. They will save at least 70% on their federal taxes year
Mhm.
after year, generation after generation before they take their deductibles. So you don't want to be at zero. A certain president, I don't want to name drop, he got in trouble for not paying taxes. So
Mhm.
in 2022, my 3 online businesses, I saved 92% in 1099 income on my federal taxes. I don't
Mhm.
file North Carolina taxes. I only file a 1041 federal tax, and I'm helping other business owners. I just talked to a gentleman yesterday
Mhm.
who is a dentist in California. We're
Mhm.
going to save him his dental work, federal taxes, and California taxes. We're going to save him over $46,000 at 70%, and even more when he gets up to the 90-95%. I mean, this is saving small business people thousands of dollars, investors thousands of dollars.
And then California, I'm like, they already have those huge taxes within their state. I'm like, they tax like at the 50% rate almost.
Exactly.
Yeah.
California, Illinois, and New York are, I'm not making fun of those states, but you
Uh-huh.
have ugly state taxes that this trust will help you save those taxes too. You do have to get everything into the trust. So
Mhm.
if it, like, I have 5 school teachers and 6 nurses who are still working W-2 income,
Mhm.
that can't be covered in the trust. But all those people have either rental income or Airbnbs. They're
Mhm.
saving that money in the trust. So like how do I say this? They have regular 1040 income, a 1040 tax return, and a 1041 tax return with the trust. So unfortunately, if they live in California, they can't save that California tax until they stop working.
Yeah. Oh, wow. So I'm like, but you do have situations where you can, work with people and they transition out of normal 1040 income to the 1041. So I'm like,
Exactly.
there is opportunity there for them to be able to, do that. Yeah.
Exactly. Like one of my people, she does weight loss. She's with a company that does weight loss. When she started the trust, she was a school teacher.
Mhm.
Her weight loss thing grew and grew. She quit being a school teacher, and now she has everything in the trust.
Mhm.
One thing I want to talk to you about, Andreas, I don't know when this is going to go live on your radio show. Do
Mhm.
you know about the 2024 Corporate Transparency Act that starts January 1st, 2024?
I have not.
I'm not trying to tell people they have to have this trust, but this is coming from the Department of Treasury.
Mhm.
If you are an established LLC,
Mhm.
doing business as, or a corporation, you have until January 1st of 2025 to file the paperwork with the Department of Treasury.
Mhm.
If you start a new LLC doing business as or corporation, let's say January 15th, you start a new LLC, you'll have 30 days to do that paperwork for the Department of Treasury. It's part of the anti-money laundering bill. If you don't
Mhm.
do it within 30 days, you could be fined $10,000 or 2 years in jail or both. This is
Mhm.
going to change how all small businesses do business in the United States. With either the business trust or the beneficial trust, the 4 ways you're going to save, the important ways you're going to save, you're going to save federal taxes. Everyone wants to do that.
Mhm.
You're going to save, keep your information private. Unfortunately, your LLC, I can write a freedom of information letter to the
Mhm.
Department of Treasury, to the Department Secretary of State or the
Mhm.
Corporation Commission and get that information.
Mhm.
Number 3, I can't stop you from being sued, but you, the individual, are worth nothing because everything's in the trust. So you'll no
Mhm.
longer pay judgments if you're sued. And number
Mhm.
4, if you have the trust, you don't have to do the yearly paperwork with the Department of Treasury over the Corporate Transparency Act that starts January 1st. Again, I'm just telling everyone about this because even if you don't have the trust, you need to know about this because what if you mess up? What if you don't know about this and you get fined $10,000? That's a lot of money.
Yeah, and that will, paying that fine will severely impact the cash flow of small businesses, especially, the fact that most small businesses are just one person. So,
Exactly. When I started this trust back in September of 2020,
Mhm.
I had 12 notes in 6 LLCs.
Mhm.
If I was still like that starting in 2024, I would have to do 6 things of paperwork for each one of my LLCs. I shut those all down, moved them into the 12 properties into my trust. Note, how do I explain the note? I'm the mortgage, I'm the paper on the house. Like I
Mhm.
don't own the house, but people pay me their mortgage every single month. So it was 2 months to transition over because my servicer had to send letters to the people saying this is the new bank account, things like that. But for me, not have to do 6 different kinds of paperwork for the Department of Treasury, I'm happy. That's just an extra icing on the cake for me, besides saving interest income on those 12 notes.
Yeah, and then you are also the appointed person of the trust, correct?
Correct. Correct. So I do have the business trust and I do have the beneficial trust. A lot of
Mhm.
my clients have either one or the other. You don't have to have both,
Mhm.
but I want to, I'm proof. I want to show people my proof of what I'm saving in taxes and what other people can save in taxes. I mean, literally, the gentleman I spoke to yesterday with being a dentist, he's just like, this changes things. He's married. He's got 2 kids. He's like, I can start putting money aside for my college, for my kids to go to college. I can pay off the mortgage on my house faster with all this money I'm going to be saving. I'm like, yep, it's your money. You do with what you like.
Exactly. So, have you had any resistance as far as, people when you present the information to them, or how are they receiving the information? Are they receptive to it?
Correct. My website, www.thetrustisyou.com. And I do go live once a month. It's usually the second Tuesday of every month. I
Mhm.
go live on a Zoom meeting. I show slides. I talk for half an hour, and then I open it up for question and answering because people have never heard of this. Somebody else I spoke to yesterday. This is an interesting story.
Mhm.
He leases airplanes nationwide to companies, and
Mhm.
he brought his financial advisor onto the call with me. And we talked with a gentleman from a gentleman at the law firm because they had questions.
Mhm.
We're gonna save Thomas, the gentleman who leases the airplanes, over $200,000 in federal taxes. His financial advisor wants to tell everybody else, and the financial advisor's like, "This sounds too good to be true." And I'm like, I've got 2 pages of case law. It's been in front of the U.S. Supreme Court. I have articles from Forbes magazine, and the more people who hear about it and figure out they can save money, I'll be honest, the threshold, if you're a 1099 or a US business owner, you need to be making about $75,000 or more to make it worthwhile. Just
Yeah.
to give you an idea, somebody at $75,000 filing single, they will save in the first year almost $11,000. But year after year after year, 10 years later, you're going to save $100,000 in federal taxes. That's fascinating. I
Yeah.
mean, why wouldn't you do this?
Yeah. I love it. And I love the fact that you just named, like, what you need to be at as far as the entry point for it to be successful to
Exactly.
the individual. Because sometimes when people are presenting information, they don't necessarily give that type of information that you just said. And they make it think it's applicable to everybody. Because I'm like, we're all at different income threshold levels. But I'm loving
Correct.
this. Love the fact that
Just another example for you, just so you have this. An actual client of mine, Super Bowl Sunday of 2021, when Tom Brady won his 7th Super Bowl, he went out door knocking instead of watching the Super Bowl. Shame on him. Tom Brady's the GOAT. So
Mhm.
he got caught the daughter. This is in Phoenix. He caught the daughter just before she's leaving for back to Los Angeles County. He retired preacher from New Hampshire, living in Phoenix,
Mhm.
married, 22% tax rate. He wholesaled that house for $50,000. On that house, he had to pay $11,000 in short-term capital gains.
Mhm.
So if you do that twice in one year, 50,000, you'll make $50,000 because you wholesale the house. You paid for
Mhm.
the trust. I mean, he didn't have it at that time. He had to get on a payment plan like I did with the IRS.
Mhm.
But since then, he's done 5 more wholesale deals, has paid for the trust very easily. And he's just like, I'm your poster child of what not to do. I'm like, yeah, you didn't watch Tom Brady win his 7th Super Bowl. Shame on you. So
I love it. So, what's your overall goal then? Do you want to this to reach as many people as possible? Are you trying to help 10,000 people?
Exactly. I just did, it was by Zoom, but it was a conference of people who own hair salons, a beauty thing. And I did it on Monday, and I'm showing an example. The person who brought me in is actually a client of mine, and
Mhm.
she's just like, you have to listen to Sally. From that meeting, I already have 9 people scheduled between now and Friday who want more information. First off, about the Corporate Transparency Act. I mean, that's an ugly bill that everyone needs to know about, but
Mhm.
then to help them save money. I mean, my client who has her own salon, she's making $180,000 a year in 1099 income. I didn't know there was so much money involved in having your own salon, but we're going to save her over almost $22,000 at 70% a year. And she's like, it's so worth it.
Yeah, I already know who I could put you in contact with a few people who like the tax preparers and stuff, and their clients are making like just driving trucks or whatever, 170 something thousand dollars a year. It's like you said, a 1099 income source, and they're having to pay 20, $30,000 in taxes. And we're like, no, there are better ways to be able to save this money. So yeah, I'm definitely going to
Exactly.
your
What,
information.
what, one of my two biggest groups that are growing right now, day
Uh-huh.
traders, people,
Mhm.
I'm on TikTok. I'm not crowing. I just broke 17,000 followers on TikTok yesterday. So my day
Congratulations.
traders from TikTok reach out to me because they're getting killed. Just to give you an idea, most people don't know this. The current IRS tax code went into effect February of 1913 and was supposed to be around for 6 years. It's taboo subject to talk about death and taxes in the United States because it's confusing. There's 7 different layers, 10% to 37%, 7 different layers, 4 ways to file your taxes. So 28 different ways to file your taxes. So my day traders, one of the guys who teaches people how to day trade, I'm talking to his group, he has an online group. We have a business agreement. I've got a bunch of people doing that. And now people with Amazon stores or Etsy stores, because they're seeing my TikTok videos and like, we're getting killed. I'm like, yes, you are. So
Mhm.
Andreas, I don't, did you get my affiliate link?
Yes, I do. I have your affiliate link.
Excellent. Please use it because, they're your friends. Hey, make an extra little bit of money because I don't know enough people to keep telling them about how they can save so much money with the
Yeah.
Spendthrift Trust.
So you're growing, right? Because you're putting out this wonderful information and you're getting these results for clients. So then the business side, how do you manage your time now? Have you been able to like, bring on other people up under you as far as a team, or what are your plans for that?
Great question. I don't know. Do you have a smartwatch?
No.
Okay.
Smartphone, no smartwatch.
My watch is not too smart. Can I tell you a funny story about my watch?
Uh-huh.
I was living in Phoenix when I got my Amazon watch, and I didn't understand when I paid for the watch and I got the box from Amazon that said your special Phoenix, Arizona Amazon watch. I'm like, what's so special about it? I live in North Carolina. It doesn't change time. Yeah, I don't know if you realize Arizona doesn't
Yeah,
change time
the States.
ever.
Uh-huh. I think
Half
that
the time we're Pacific time, half the time we're Mountain time. So I'm
uh,
an hour ahead right now. But so yeah, but on my watch, there's an app called Pomodoro Method. Have you ever heard of that?
mm,
Basically, it gives you like 20 minutes. You can decide 20 minutes or 30 minutes. So I do 5 TikTok videos a day. I
mm,
only spend 20 minutes to do those TikTok videos. Then I spend another hour to post them on link. I got kicked off LinkedIn, but on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, and I'm on Threads. So I purposely schedule my day. This morning, when I got up at 7 o'clock in the morning, the only thing I did was answer emails that came in after 5 o'clock last night. I won't go back onto email until 12:30. Answer any emails that came in earlier today. Like I close down my email because I have to be. How do I say this? I compartmentalize my day to do what I need to do.
exactly. No, I definitely get that. I've gotten to the point where I do that now because I create so much content and I create content for others and not just interviews and stuff like that, but like reels. I have a whole character and all that stuff where with my other business that I use to promote and stuff like that. So I definitely get that compartmentalizing your day to where, okay, yeah, I
Correct.
answer emails in the morning and then, by mid-afternoon, whatever the case would be.
you
Wow.
you'll one of my coaches tells me you're either a consumer or you're posting things. I don't respond to people on Instagram or Facebook. I just post them like, hey, here's the information. Here's how to contact me. You want to know about this? Reach out to me, please.
Exactly. I'm like, you have to do that filtration system. So I definitely understand that. Marcella, is there anything that we left off the table that you want to talk about, or?
Again, I just want people to know about the 2024 Corporate Transparency Act.
Mhm.
If you're an established LLC, doing business as, or corporation, you have until January 1st, 2025. But, I just wholesaled a house October 31st. The gentleman who bought the house started a new LLC here in North Carolina. If he
Mhm.
does that again, January 15th, he's got 30 days to file that paperwork or be fined $10,000, 2 years
Mhm.
in jail, or both. And I just want people to know about that.
Yeah.
Again, my website, www.thetrustisyou.com. I
Mhm.
have a free 18-minute video I send out to you to talk about the trust. And I
Mhm.
just want as many people, like you said, people who could be saving thousands of dollars, and Andreas, it might not be for you today, but when you start making more and more and more money,
Mhm.
2 months from now, 6 months from now, 8 months from now, hey, why not contact me and save more federal taxes?
I'm in the rebuilding process right now. But yes, I definitely, when I hit that 75, which I anticipate to hit that, either later on, probably by the first quarter next year, just realistically. Yeah, I'm going to be, I'm excited. Okay, so come on, let's go. What we need to do to go ahead and get these trusts and stuff set up, because I definitely understand what you're talking about. I just wish.
Exactly. When I do my live, I'm not trying to crow. I say this is how much I've saved in 3 years. I'm like, how they say examples are typical. I'm like, this is just my information because honest to God, you and I are equal. We both of us are starting our own businesses.
Mhm.
I just got frustrated. I mean, I was embarrassed when I got in the payment plan with the IRS. I wanted to know how come the Rockefellers don't pay taxes. When I found the private law firm and that they've had the copyright for 72 years. I mean, they've never been audited. This is as legal can be. If I can save money, you can save money, your friends, your family can save money. It's an important thing. I mean, no one's talking about this, unfortunately.
Well, there's a reason why I don't talk about it. Because they don't want everybody to be empowered, the average person. Now, just think of the like 300, we have 330 million Americans. Say 175 of those working. Let's just say 75 million middle Americans actually did this. It would change the
Exactly.
landscape of everything. They would have to basically throw out the tax code and rewrite it again because they don't want
Correct.
anybody to benefit for that.
And the key for this, just so you know this, if Congress, not saying they will ever get together, but that you're either right or you're wrong in Congress. I don't want to be political, but if they change the rule, it's 643B, like Bravo, that's in the IRS tax code. If they change that rule, I can't sell the trust anymore. But my trust and all the other trusts, it's contract law. It comes from England way back when King Henry VIII started the Church of England. I'm going to give you the wrong year, so don't quote me. 1533
Mhm.
came to the colonies while we were still a colony. The law firm I work on behalf of inherited a trust that turned 350 years old in 2023. This is as legal can be. And if they
Mhm.
change the IRS tax code, they can't change the contract. If you do something fraudulent and it can pierce the veil, I
Mhm. Yeah.
that could happen. But once you start this trust, it's going to go from generation to generation to
Mhm.
generation. You're leaving a legacy for your family.
Exactly. And that's what I love. Well, Sally, I definitely appreciate the information. Thank you for coming on. For
I
everybody,
appreciate you having me on the show. I hope you have a wonderful week then. Okay.
I definitely will. And I love this information. I'm so excited now. So everybody out there, yeah, make sure y'all go to the trustisyou.com. That's the correct website, Sally.
Thank you.
Thetrustisyou.com, and I'll make sure I have it up there for y'all so y'all be able to see it. Thank you, Sally. I appreciate it. And we're definitely gonna have to have you back on.
I would like that. Thank you very much.